Right now, 12 degrees in London, but -10 in the Scottish Highlands. That is a 22-degree difference across one single country. And if you are watching this from anywhere in the United Kingdom today, Sunday the 8th of February 2026, what happens in the next few hours could catch you completely off guard, because here is what most people do not realize. February the 8th is statistically one of the coldest days of the entire month in 5 major British cities, and I have the exact data to prove it. Stay with me, because at the 5-minute mark, I am going to reveal a region-by-region breakdown, city by city, hour by hour, so you know precisely when the cold hits hardest, when the rain arrives, and when conditions turn dangerous in your area. But first, drop a comment right now telling me where you are watching from. Your city, your town, your village. I will personally respond with a tailored forecast for your location. The more specific you are, the better I can help you prepare. Now here is your first reward for watching. If you are anywhere in the southeast of England right now, you are sitting in the warmest pocket of the entire United Kingdom today, and you probably do not even realize how unusual that is. London is running 4 to 5 degrees above the historical February average. The long-term average for London in February sits around 7 to 8 degrees Celsius. Today, the capital is expected to hit 12 degrees. That is not normal. That is a mild Atlantic air mass pushing across southern England, and it is creating a false sense of security. Because while London feels almost spring-like, Manchester is recording temperatures that match the coldest day in its entire February record. I will explain exactly why that matters in about 90 seconds. But before I get there, let me give you the number that should make every single person in Britain pay attention today. 19. That is, how many days out of 28 in February typically see rainfall somewhere in the United Kingdom? 19 out of 28. That means only 9 days this entire month are likely to stay dry. And today, the 8th of February, is not one of those 9 days. Rain is forecast across almost every region, and in some areas it will not be rain at all. It will be sleet, it will be snow, it will be ice forming on your windscreen at 3 in the morning. Now, I promised you a city-by-city breakdown, and that is exactly what you are getting. But here is something most weather reports will never tell you. The most dangerous moment today is not when the rain is heaviest. It is not when the wind is strongest. The most dangerous moment is between 6 and 8 in the morning, when overnight frost has turned road surfaces into ice rinks across the Midlands, the North, and Scotland. If you are driving before 9 this morning, you need to hear what I'm about to say next. Let us start in London and the southeast. The capital wakes up this morning at around 7 degrees Celsius. That is your overnight low. By midday, temperatures climb to 12 degrees, which for February is remarkably warm. But do not be fooled by the thermometer. London typically sees 12 days of rainfall during February, with a monthly total of around 37 millimeters. Today, light drizzle will drift in during the afternoon, that classic London mist that you barely notice until your coat is soaked through. Cloud cover will dominate all day. If you see the sun at all, it will be for perhaps 2 hours maximum. Wind speeds stay moderate, nothing dramatic, but enough to make 12 degrees feel more like 8 or 9 when you are standing at a bus stop. Brighton on the south coast drops to 7 or 8 degrees during the day, 4 to 5 at night. But here is where it gets interesting. Brighton averages 89 millimeters of rain in February alone. That is more than double what London receives. The coastal wind makes it feel significantly colder than what the numbers suggest. Southampton sits at 4 to 9 degrees with a sea breeze that strips away any warmth the moment you step outside. If you are on the southern coast today, add an extra layer. Trust me on this one. Now, moving west, and this is where I need you to pay close attention, because the southwest is where the Atlantic Ocean starts to make its presence felt. Bristol hits around 9 degrees today, dropping to 4 overnight. Not dramatic, but Plymouth is a completely different story. Plymouth sits on the far southwestern tip of England, directly in the firing line of whatever the Atlantic decides to throw at it. Rain can arrive at virtually any hour. Wind gusts along the Cornwall and Devon coastline could exceed 30 kilometers per hour this afternoon. If you live in Plymouth, you already know the rule. You never leave the house without a waterproof. Today is not the day to break that habit. Do not skip ahead, because what I'm about to reveal about the Midlands will change how you plan your entire day. Birmingham, the nation's second city, and today one of the coldest spots in England. The high reaches just 7 degrees Celsius. The overnight low dips to 1 degree, 1 single degree above freezing. And here is the twist. Birmingham averages 3 to 4 days of snowfall during February. With overnight temperatures hovering at the freezing point, frost will form on roads, pavements, and car windscreens during the early hours of Sunday morning. If you are a motorist in the Birmingham area, check your tires and lights before you even think about turning the engine attention on. Oxford sees 9 degrees during the day, 3 at night, light rain during the afternoon. Cambridge, its eternal rival across in East Anglia, sits at 3 to 8 degrees with around 61 millimetres of February rainfall. But here is the detail that matters: morning fog. East Anglia is notorious for thick February fog that reduces visibility to almost nothing. If you are driving through Cambridgeshire, Norfolk, or Suffolk before 10 this morning, slow down and use your fog lights. Now, remember I told you the 5-minute mark would deliver the full picture. Here it is. Let me take you north, because everything changes once you cross into Manchester and Liverpool territory. Manchester. The 8th of February is historically one of the coldest days of the entire month in this city. Long-term climate records show the average minimum temperature on this exact date is 0.8 degrees Celsius. That is not a typo. 0.8. Today, the high reaches 7 degrees, the overnight low sits at 2 degrees, but the historical data tells us this is a city that knows real cold on this specific day. Manchester averages just 3.4 hours of sunshine per day in February. 3.4 hours. That is barely enough time to finish a cup of tea in daylight. Snow accumulation in February typically reaches 19 millimetres across 2 to 3 days. Today, a significant snowfall is unlikely, but cold rain mixed with sleet remains a distinct possibility, particularly during the evening hours. If you are heading out in Manchester after 6 tonight, bring your heaviest coat. Liverpool faces 3 to 8 degrees with 15 days of rain in an average February. 15 days. The sea temperature off the Liverpool coast sits at just 7.4 degrees Celsius, and that onshore Atlantic wind carries enough moisture to produce that heavy, grey, leaden atmosphere the northwest knows all too well. But wait, the northeast has a surprise that most people are not expecting. Leeds sits at 8 degrees during the day, 4 at night. York, that stunning ancient walled city, reaches 9 degrees by day, 3 at night. Both cities sit in the Vale of York, where cold North Sea winds sweep unimpeded across flat terrain with nothing to stop them. Morning frost is not just possible in York, it is virtually guaranteed. When you draw back your curtains this Sunday morning, expect a thin white veil of ice covering rooftops and pavements. Newcastle upon Tyne. Now this is where it gets serious. Daytime temperatures forecast at 8 degrees, but the winds coming off the North Sea push the feels like temperature significantly lower. On winter days like today, the wind chill in Newcastle can rival that of some Scandinavian cities. Let that sink in for a moment. A city in northern England with wind chill comparable to Scandinavia. Light rain and strong winds will define the day for everyone in the Newcastle area. And now we cross the border into Scotland. And I need to be completely honest with you. What is happening in Scotland today deserves its own entire video. But here are the critical facts you absolutely must know. Edinburgh. Climate records show that the 7th of February yesterday is actually the coldest day on average across the whole of February in the Scottish capital. The 8th is only fractionally warmer. Highs reach 5 to 6 degrees. Overnight lows fall to 1 to 2 degrees. Edinburgh averages 19 to 20 days of measurable precipitation in February alone. That means on average only 8 or 9 days in the entire month stay dry. Humidity runs between 86 and 88%, which gives the cold a raw, damp quality that seeps into your bones in a way that dry cold simply cannot. Rain could turn to sleet or wet snow during the early hours or late evening. If you are in Edinburgh, layer up properly. Thermal base layer, warm jumper, waterproof jacket, hat, scarf, and gloves. This is not optional today. Glasgow faces even more challenging conditions. February is the month with the heaviest snowfall in Glasgow across the entire year, averaging 3.9 days of snow and accumulating up to 49 millimetres. That is roughly double what Edinburgh receives. Daytime temperatures reach 5 to 6 degrees, but overnight readings could dip below freezing. Glasgow's weather is remarkably unpredictable. You might enjoy weak sunshine in the morning and find yourself trudging through sleet by lunchtime. Wind speeds in Glasgow tend to be higher than in most other British cities, and the real field temperature can easily drop several degrees below zero. The Scottish Highlands are in an altogether different league. Temperatures at altitude can plunge to -5 or even -10 degrees Celsius. Winds on summits can reach gale force. Heavy snow cover across the peaks is entirely normal for this time of year. If you have any plans to hill walk or explore the Highlands today, check local forecasts meticulously, carry proper winter kit, and tell someone your intended route before you set out. The mountains are stunningly beautiful in February, but they demand absolute respect. Now, Wales. Cardiff sees conditions similar to Bristol. 9 degrees during the day, 3 to 4 at night. February is technically the snowiest month of the year in Cardiff, though at sea level, actual snow accumulation is usually negligible. Rain is the main story. Scattered light showers today, but nothing catastrophic. Grey skies with occasional fleeting intervals of brightness. But North Wales around Snowdonia, or Eryri as it is properly known in Welsh, is a completely different world. Temperatures drop considerably compared to the coastal lowlands and may remain below freezing even during the day at higher elevations. Rain and snow mix freely. Winds across the ridges and summits can be fierce. If you are anywhere near Snowdonia today, prepare for full winter conditions. Northern Ireland. Belfast endures a cold and damp Sunday that is entirely typical of February. Temperatures range from 2 to 8 degrees. The Atlantic influence makes Belfast-esque weather wildly changeable. Within a single day, you could experience weak sunshine, drizzle, strong winds, and even snow flurries drifting on the breeze. Belfast averages 16 days of rain in February, 16 out of 28. Winds in Belfast tend to be stronger than in many mainland cities, and sudden gusts can bring rain or hail at virtually any moment. Keep a waterproof jacket within arm's reach at all times. So here is your complete summary. London sits warmest at 12 degrees but faces afternoon drizzle. Birmingham drops to 1 degree overnight with frost on the roads. Manchester records one of its coldest February 8th dates in history. Newcastle feels like Scandinavia. Edinburgh and Glasgow hover near freezing with snow a genuine possibility. The Highlands plunge to -10, and Belfast could throw 4 different types of weather at you in a single afternoon. Now, here is what I want you to do right now. First, comment below with your city or town. I will give you a specific forecast for your exact area. Second, if you found this useful, share it with someone you care about, especially anyone who is driving early this morning. That frost warning for the Midlands and the North is no joke. Third, the best window for any outdoor activity today across most of the country is between 11 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, when temperatures peak and you have the best chance of seeing any sunshine, however brief. For the elderly, for young children, and for anyone with respiratory conditions, please keep warm today. Drink plenty of hot fluids. Avoid prolonged exposure to the cold, damp air. The sharp contrast between heated interiors and the raw air outside can be a genuine shock to the system. And let me repeat this because it is genuinely important. If you are anywhere in the Midlands, the north of England, or Scotland, the period between 6 and 8 this morning is when black ice is most likely on untreated roads. Average wind speeds across the entire United Kingdom today run at approximately 20 kilometers per hour, but coastal areas on the western and northern fringes could see considerably stronger gusts. The ultraviolet index sits at just 1 to 2, so sun cream is not something you need to worry about. But that cold, damp air can be genuinely troublesome for anyone with asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or other respiratory conditions. One final thing, I am tracking a developing weather pattern for later this week that could bring significant changes across the entire United Kingdom. I am talking potential temperature swings of 8 to 10 degrees in some regions within 48 hours. If you want to be the first to know exactly what is coming and how it will affect your area, make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on, because the next video in this series will break down that incoming system in full detail. You will not want to miss it. Stay warm, stay safe. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from?